At this time, we have a tradition here at the GNA where we send our guest speaker all the way to the back. So before I introduce our special introductory person to this guy, Rick, I'm going to need you to go all the way to the back. Now, while Rick Zeller is going all the way to the back, let me introduce his partner in crime, because every time I see Rick, I see Nita Williams. So Nita, why don't you come on up, give her a hand clap, and she's going to introduce Rick Zeller.
I like you in that way.
Speak loud for the camera, please.
Hi, my name is Nita Williams, and first I want to ask you guys to give it up for our hosts here at GNA and the terrific program that they're putting on and helping us all move our business forward and learning this great relationship business etiquette. Let's give it up for us. Okay, I want to introduce my friend and coach and mentor and partner in crime. That's absolutely true. Rick Zeller. He has been a tremendous influence in my life. When I left corporate world, got laid off from my last 2 jobs for someone half my age and half my salary, and decided that I needed to go to work for myself and work my butt off for me instead of for someone else who didn't appreciate me. So Rick has a huge background, and he's been in real estate for 10 years. He has done a lot of things, actually. He is a great public speaker. He loves to teach people. He's a tremendous team leader. That's one of the big things that attracted me to the business that we share together, is that feeling of team. He mentors people, he helps people, he coaches people, he has a huge business, and he has a lot of women in his business, which is really cool because he has a lot of patience too, I'll tell you that. Because we often put him to the test. And he's a big team builder. I think that's probably one of the greatest things I can say about him, is that he believes in team, and that's what I love about it, is that he has gathered together a huge amount of people that, one, believe in our product and love what we do, and also have experienced such personal growth from his mentorship, his teaching, his coaching, his training. So you're going to get a little bit of that today, and I often refer to him, I refer to him as a lot of things that I'm not going to say. But I often refer to him as the incredible shrinking man, Rick Zeller.
You know, I'm excited to hear the speaker because he sounds good. Okay, not good. No podium, so put that there. Thank you. All right. To start with, I've done this talk 2 other times, and my experience is that when I do a talk the first time, it's not very good. When I peak out on the second time, and then the third time, it's iffy. So I have no idea. There's no guarantee on how this is going to go. But you guys were very nice. Got a great applause. I know you're kind. You're kind people. And so when I leave, I know I'm going to get an applause. Who knows? Maybe with a little encouragement, they'll actually tell you to stand up. Standing up. The thing is, you know, that's polite. You're being polite, and I appreciate that. But, you know, it's not necessarily the truth. It's not necessarily the measure of the talk. So, later on, if you really thought it was good, I mean, I'm sure I'm going to get my applause, but if you really thought it was good, then maybe, you know, when you pass me and I'm going to the bathroom or something, just, go like that. Just give me one of those and let me know that it was really something that touched you, that you learned something. If you walk by me and you don't do that, I'll just know, I didn't have an impact on your life, and that's okay, I'll move on. I'm going to take you in 30 minutes or less from setting a goal to getting into the dream to actually working out daily method of operation. I learned this from my mentor. I have a couple of mentors in my life. One of them is no longer with us. He died at a very young age, but he had a major impact. He's a gentleman that, I know some of you are in network marketing. His name is Daryl. Daryl had amazing success. Daryl, a year ago, was the 24th highest paid network marketer in the world. And when somebody that's making $4 million a year gives you some advice, you might want to take it, especially in this economy. So I decided to go ahead and do what he told me to do. And I'm going to let you have some of that now. And everyone's got a different business. Some of you are in traditional businesses, brick and mortar. We have all kinds of different businesses represented here. But I think the basic principles will work for all of you. So to start with, I'm going to try not to break your phone. And it's really cool that I know some of you are seeing my back, but I have a tender top. And this is really nice because I was starting to burn.
We have something in common, Rick.
Okay, to start with, I bet you some of you have heard the expression, you have to have a why that makes you cry. Some people are shaking their heads, and the truth of the matter is, I was in corporate America a long time. And in corporate America, the last thing they want you to do is have a why. Your why is come here and do what we tell you to do. Your why is, we don't want you to have a dream. We want you to dream about hitting our goal. Because if you start dreaming, and you start wanting, and you start developing yourself, you're no good to them. Because then you're not part of the establishment, you're not part of the program. So I was in corporate America a long time. I might be the oldest person, minus one, in this room. I spent a lot of time working for other people, making other people a lot of money. And I didn't have a lot of specific goals. I had my goals were to hit their 5-year objectives. That was my goal. And so when this whole thing about dreaming came about, I couldn't. I just didn't even know where to begin. So that was a challenge for me. So what I did was I put down a goal, not a dream. And the progression here is that as you develop your business and as you develop, your goals will get bigger to the place where they become a dream. So if you're like me and when you close your eyes and you're trying to conjure up what you want out of life and you can't find it, it's okay. Pick a goal. Even pick a modest goal. It doesn't have to be anything groundbreaking. It doesn't have to be amazing. Just pick a goal and start working towards that goal. One of the things, in order to have this goal, no matter what that goal is, there has to be a specific time frame. Okay? To say, I want to make, I can't tell you how many times I hear this, I want to make $1 million. Well, that's great. But when they say, can I have it by next month? The odds are probably not very good. Now, we are in America, rags to riches happen all the time. But the reality is, most likely, you're not going to go from 0 to $1 million in 30 days. So you want to set some goals, and you want to make them goals that you might have to stretch for, but you have to, you want to achieve them, so you don't want them so outlandish that you can't. You have to write these down. I don't care how simple it is. I don't care if it's, I need to meet one new friend a week. But whatever your goal is, it needs to be written down, because if you don't write them down, they're worthless. You must develop a plan to achieve your goal, and that's going to be what we're going to be talking about in a few minutes. You must decide the price you're willing to pay. Now, this is where it gets a little sticky, because all of us want success, and by the way, success isn't about money per se. For For somebody, it might be about money. For somebody, it might be about a relationship, church, giving to some kind of a project or something. I mean, it might be something different for everybody in here. But whatever it is, if your goal isn't a stretch enough, then you're not giving something up to get it. For some of you, it might be not watching the Sons of Anarchy.
Oh.
Sorry. Maybe you have to get it and watch it all one weekend or sometime. For some of you, for me, I've had a real tough time lately. I am in a couple of baseball leagues. It's not what you probably think. It's not a fantasy league, but it is a baseball league that we play online. I have people that I've known for years in Germany and England, all over the world, and you know what? It takes me 4 to 8 hours a week to do, and I'm having a difficult time coming up with 4 to 8 hours. I'm having to ask for extensions on the season because I can't get it all done, and I'm not willing to give up my business, so I have to give up my baseball league. 2 years ago, we yanked out TV. I mean, we watched Netflix, but we haven't had cable in 2 years because it was a purging of my mind. You know, it was weighing heavily on my mind. Bad news was on my mind, and so I decided to make the move. I know it was radical. I know I have friends come over and go, "Wow, hey, let's watch this or let's watch that." Well, want to watch a ball game? Either get the computer out or go to a sports bar, okay? Because that's where it's going to happen. So there's some things that I've been willing to give up, and things I'm going to have to continue to give up to get what I want. You have to decide, how important is this goal really? Are you really willing to give something up to get what you want? Because if you're not, chances are you're not going to get what you think you want to get. It's not important enough to you. So that would be an important one. You must think about reaching your goal every day. Now, when I started, you know, my goals were monetarily based. They were pretty simple, and I couldn't dream at all. Now, if I were to pull out my planner, I have a dream board in my planner. I have one that sits across my computer at home. I have my 90-day plan. Now, I do an annual goal sheet, but I also do one every quarter with my wife, because you can change your life in 90 days. And so I have it on here, and I take it everywhere I go. I look at it at least 2 or 3 times a day, because if you're not aware, and you're not getting emotionally tied to your goal, whatever it is, it's not going to happen unless you happen to be extremely lucky. And I don't want to leave this to luck. You know, this is about my life, and I want my life to not be based on luck. So those are some of the things that I would suggest you do. So now we have a basic goal. Now we have to take it to a desire, because the desire is where you're going to get to that why that makes you cry. Napoleon Hill, I paraphrase some of this stuff, but Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich had something to say about desire. Desire gains momentum when it has a concrete form. Now, who here really wouldn't want momentum on their desire, on their goals, on their dreams? But if you don't put it down on paper, and by the way, yeah, my written goals are great, but there's nothing better than the dream, because I have photos, I have pictures, places I want to go, people I want to take with me. You know, one of the things we want to do, and we have 9 grandkids. We have 4 kids. I'm not so crazy about all the kids, but I'm real crazy about the 9 grandkids. And in fact, I'm probably speaking to only 2 of my kids at any particular time. But we want to take all 9 grandkids to Disneyland. We want to pay the bill, and if the parents want to come along, that's okay. And if they don't, that's okay too. That's even better. So I got a picture of Goofy that I carry around with me. Isn't that goofy? But I have pictures of my grandkids on my vision board at home with, you know, the castle and everything. I have other dreams. Some people would think they were crazy. I mean, I'm a huge baseball fan until the Yankees aren't there anymore, and then I'm not. But you know, one of my dreams is to take a 2-month period of time and travel around and watch a ball game in one summer at every Major League Baseball. Okay, that's a big deal to me. We're planning on doing that next summer. But that's been something we've been dreaming about for years. So, I mean, they're not necessarily about your lifestyle or your income. It's about things you want to do, places you want to go. It's about your life. And so, desire gains momentum when it has a concrete form. Okay? Reviewing your goal turns your desire into an obsession. Now, I know we're taught that obsessions are bad. But you know what? If you don't obsess over what you want, you're not going to get it. Now, we can get into the philosophy of like the love of money. I know people that obsess over money, and I think the Bible says the love of money, it's not the love of money that creates, it's the root of all evil, but it's the love of money.
It's the love of money.
Yeah, and it's not money itself. But you can obsess about it and having it, but not necessarily because you love it. For example, when I got into this business that I'm in, it was about the money. But I've taken growth pills, if you want. I mean, my whole thing has changed. We're giving more and more to foundations. We're giving more and more to the church. We have some orphans that we're helping. We're doing a lot of stuff with it. It's amazing. You go around a room of people that have a dream. When you start talking to people and they haven't got to their dream yet, a lot of times the first thing that comes out of their mouth is about the money, and it's about personal gratification. But when you sit in a room with a lot of people that are on their way to financial freedom, and you ask them what they're doing or what they want to do with their money, it's almost always to help somebody else. It's hardly ever about them. But you have to have that obsession to help other people, or you're just not going to get where you want to go. You have to be consistent of your review, because it turns desire into a commitment, a no matter what. And if you aren't no matter what, then you need to take a look at your business and decide whether you're really in the right spot. A year and a half ago, in our business, we hit a milestone that made everyone want to recruit us for their business. Because after all, if we could do that here, then we could do better there. And I hate that. But it happened a lot, and it really puffed me up. And I actually looked at a couple of them. And then a friend of mine said, Rick, the deal is that you have a lot of people that trust you. And they came on board because of you, because of what you stand for, because of what your wife stands for. And you build your resume, if you will. You build your reputation over years and years and years of doing the right thing. And if you decide to jump, you will regret it for the rest of your life. And this is somebody that did. He was making literally millions of dollars, but he couldn't manage it. We have some financial planners here that should have known him at the time. And so what he had to do, he had to decide that he would never do it again, because he had people that, not that they wouldn't talk to him, he felt so bad about it, he couldn't talk to them because he had let them down. So I'm telling you right now, if you're not where you want to be, if you're not convicted on your business, maybe you're looking for one, sometimes there are people in these meetings that don't know what they're going to do yet. Find something that you can say, I'm going to do this no matter what. Because if you don't, you know what? You're going to waffle in the wind, and you're not going to be able to have the kind of desire you need to change your life. You have to realize that your plan isn't going to happen in a day, a week, or a month. I get way too many people that come to me and they want to have instant gratification, like everything in their life. Don't like the car, get a bigger car. Don't like the wife, get a smaller wife. Whatever. Yeah, that was trouble, right? Well, business is not a one-year deal. Business is a 2 to 5, sometimes it's a 2 to 10 year commitment. If you're expecting, and I'm willing to bet you, most of you, if we had a one-on-one, would tell me you're doing what you're doing because you want to achieve financial freedom. And that means something different to everybody, but you want to get to a place where your business takes care of you and you don't have to work necessarily when you're 75 years old. And so I'm willing to bet you most of you have that as one of your goals. But you know what? If you're already 74, maybe that's a problem. Maybe, you better figure on retiring at 80. I have a friend that's an attorney. He has an amazing practice. He has a very specific niche. He actually is, his niche is he defends distributors all over the United States against network marketing companies. That's his niche. Now, every once in a while, he will represent a company. But most of the time, he's representing distributors against the company. And he ended up joining a network marketing company, and he'd never done it before. He's been in it now 3 years. He's wildly successful. But he joined because when he was asked, he has this huge practice. He has literally a 10-bedroom, is it 10-bedroom, 8-bath, or 8-10? Anyway, it's huge. He's got a great family. His wife's a PhD, works for a pharmaceutical company. They make tons of dough. But his life owns him. And he went to his financial planner and found out to retire with the same income that he makes now, he's going to have to continue to work until he's 84. And he's like 48 now. And so at that time, he's talking to one of his clients who happens to be suing an old company. And he goes, well, geez, Mike, tell me, how are things going? And Mike says, oh, man, great. I'm trying this case, I'm trying this case. I got this going. And Randy goes, yeah, but Mike, how's it really going? He goes, man, I got all kinds of problems. I got guys that aren't working right. I got traveling a lot. I mean, I'm working through Thanksgiving. I mean, he's just very unhappy with his realization that he's not going to ever be financially free. I mean, that's the reality. And so he made a switch. Now, it's a transition. He's not going to give up this law practice immediately to be a network marketer. He's making a transition. But in 3 years, he's already gotten to the place where he's making $500,000 a year with his company. So he's serious about this transition. But the point is, you got to have a plan. And you got to work that plan. And it's not a 1 year, 2 year, or 5 year, or 10 year necessarily. And you have to have that commitment of no matter what. Okay, the constant focus, like looking at your vision board, or looking at your goals, or whatever it is that you do, constant focus turns your desire into endurance. How many people here ever wake up and go, wow, my business is killing me right now. I just have to get through one more day. Now, I'm not asking you to raise your hands, because none of you would, because everyone wants everyone to feel like they're positive about the business. But the reality is, we all feel that way from time to time. It's just a natural thing. So, if you're feeling that way, plug in to where you want to go, where you want to be, what your goals are. Because if you do that, it's what gives you the endurance, just the staying power, to keep on doing what it is that you do. Okay, so let's talk about daily method of operation, DMO. This is really a simple concept, and yet I'm willing to bet you, I'm not going to ask anyone to raise their hand afterward, but I want to bet you 3/4 of the room have some kind of a basic plan, but don't have a daily method of operation. So let's talk about it for a second. I actually, by the way, I tweaked this. When Daryl showed me this, I tweaked it to weekly. So I do a weekly method of operation, not a daily method of operation. And to give you an example, for me, when I was really in my growth stage, I set a goal that I would do between 5 and 7, what we refer to as a plan. So it's a little different than a one-on-one, because I'm not pitching you, I'm just finding out about you, you're finding out about me. 5 to 7 plans where somebody's interested in what I do, and I'm giving them information about the product, or I'm giving information about the business, or both. That was my goal. 5 to 7 a week. Okay. Now I'll tell you that it's great to have goals, but it's better to have goals and have an accountability partner. Because if you don't stay in tune, who's going to call you on it? And by the way, your accountability partner should never ever be your spouse or your significant other unless you want to lose them. Because that's the high road to failure right there. I chose a guy named Vincent. Vincent is a great guy. He's very honest. He happens to be my upline, so I knew he would be honest with me. However, if you don't have a great relationship with somebody and you happen to be a network marketer, you might not want to choose your upline because sometimes they can be brutal. And if it's going to damage your relationship, you don't want that to happen. The very first meeting that we had after we agreed that he would be my mentor and be my accountability partner, that week my goal was to do 7, and I had 1. Now, I had people cancel, people not show up, all kinds of different reasons. But the reality is I had 1. And he sat there and he looked at me and he said, you know, Rick, if you're going to continue to waste my time, I would rather do anything else than be here with you. And the next week, I had 5 or 6 or 7, whatever it was. And you know what? The bottom line is, if I had 1, because I met with him every Friday at 4 o'clock. If I had 1 and it was noon on Friday, I was talking to homeless people on the way to that appointment because I was not going to go through that ever again. Okay? So, daily method of operation. I don't care if you're selling widgets or whatever it is. You need to figure out how many appointments you need to have in order to sell a widget. Let's say you have to have 2 appointments to sell 1 widget. Okay? And maybe you have to ask 2 people for an appointment to get 1. So now you have to talk to 4 people just to get 1 widget sold. So I look at that and I got 4 people I have to talk to, but I might have to call 10 people to get 1 person on the phone or however you prospect. So now I have to phone 40 people in order to get 1 sale. So now I know I have 40 people in a week. I work Monday through Friday. I have to make 8 phone calls a day. Now it doesn't matter if you talk to anyone today, because whatever your number is, it is. So if you know for every 40 calls you make, you're going to sell 1 widget, then I don't care if you make your 40 calls this week and you didn't sell 1. Your week was a success. Because next week when you make your 40 calls, you'll probably sell 2, because your number is what it is. It's a numbers game. Business is a numbers game. Success is a numbers game. And so setting up that daily method of operation is what it's about. It's making yourself accountable to do the little things. I get a lot of people that have never done a network marketing program before. You probably get people that have never invested before, or bought insurance before, or built cabinets, or whatever it is that you do. And so a lot of times, some of these people are so timid that they could not sell anything literally to save their life. So my goal isn't to go out and sell anything. You know, I sit down with them and it's like, you know what? I want you to go out and I want you to meet 3 people this week. That's your goal. That is your entire goal. And if they do that, they had a success because they grew. This is about growth. It's not about a transaction or making money today. It's about growing. If you are willing to go ahead and set yourself up on a DMO and you're willing to do it for a 90-day period, I promise you, you can change your life in such a positive way. It's not funny. So, sounds pretty easy, really, doesn't it? One of the things that I loved about the DMO thing is the other part of that, which he used the acronym SINLOA, Safety in Number, Law of Averages. Daryl used to talk about that a lot. You know, you raise your number. Let's say that your goal is to sell 1 widget, and you know, you decide this week is the week. I'm breaking through. I'm going to be a 2-widget salesperson. So if it takes 40 calls to do 1, then it takes 80 calls to do 2. Now, the natural thing for most sales types to do is they make their first call, and that person buys a widget. And for the next 4.5 days, that person is in Mendocino because they hit their sale goal, but they quit working because they did that. And so, in order to be successful at this over a 90-day period, you have to decide that whether it's your 40th call, or your 80th call, or your first call, whatever number of calls it is, or however you measure yourself, you are going to do the entire program each week. So you get your sale the first day. If you want to double up and you want to do 20 calls the next 2 days to get through the week and take 2 days off, that's okay. But the goal is you had to do 40 calls to hit your DMO. And so you're focused around little achievements to get you where you want to go. I know it sounds easy. I've had a lot of people do it with amazing results, so I'm hoping that you will. I'm going to read something real quick in closing. It's very short, but I was fortunate enough to see Jim Rohn 3 times.
Yes.
Amazing man, amazing life, had a major impact on me. And he wrote a little piece about easy. He said, people often ask me how I became successful in that 6-year period of time, while many of the people I knew did not. The answer is simple. The things I found to be easy to do, they found to be easy not to do. I found it easy to set the goals that could change my life. They found it easy not to. I found it easy to read the books that could affect my thinking and my ideas. They found that easy not to. I found it easy to attend the classes and the seminars and to get around other successful people. They said it probably wouldn't matter anyway. If I had to sum up, I would say what I found easy to do, they found to be easy not to do. 6 years later, I'm a millionaire, and they are still blaming the economy, the government, and company policies, yet they neglected to do the basic, easy things. I promise you, if you will do those basic, easy things, it will change your life.
Wow, that was awesome. Great golden nuggets. Thanks for coming all this way and sharing that with us.